And on this final day of Women's History Month, we welcome a woman who built an amazing career in banking and business leadership. Linda Bowden-Sims served as the New Jersey regional president of PNC Bank until she retired about 5 years ago in 2021. But her journey started in a very different place. She was a teacher in Wyckoff, where she also authored children's math books before transitioning into banking. She's been recognized as one of the 25 women to watch by US Banker and has appeared on the NJ Best 50 Women in Business and Power 100 list. We say good morning, Linda Bowden-Sims. Good to have you on.
May I begin by saying,
There we go.
can
Go
you hear
ahead.
me?
I lost your voice for a second. I got you now. Go right ahead.
Okay. I just want to begin by saying, as a dog lover, how much I enjoyed your last segment. I was smiling and particularly enjoyed your questions. So thank you for
Well,
that.
thank you. Some people would say Pomeranians are not real dogs, but I beg to differ.
Oh, they're darling.
I'm
Dogs.
6'3", 185 pounds, carrying these two fluffy little Pomeranians around. They rule the roost. Let me just tell you that much. But I
I
love
bet
your
they do.
history. I love your background. I love your history. My mother was an educator. My mother-in-law was a teacher, and I'm so honored to have you on. So, what inspired that first chapter of your professional life, teaching in Wyckoff?
Well, I think there were a couple of things, and it's a great question. I grew up at a time in the 50s and 60s where that's what little girls aspired to, teaching, nursing. There really weren't a lot of other pathways. We are, as you mentioned earlier, on the last day of Women's History Month, and it's easy to forget that the opportunities that exist today for women, that's recent history. Really, that wasn't the case for many, many years. And I was the kind of little girl who played school all the time, and I just always wanted to be a teacher. And I did teach for 7 years, and as I've said many times, it's hard to think of a more noble profession.
Mhm. Absolutely. And then you took that career, everything you learned from that, right? And then you parlayed that into a career in banking. Now you were clearly a math whiz because you wrote math books, that's a whole other show. We could do a whole show on how you write math books. But you took that and you turned it into banking. How did you turn it into banking?
Well, first of all, there's probably a disclaimer here. Remember, the math books were for first and second graders. So I'm not
Okay.
certain. I think you might be giving me a little too much credit, but nonetheless, it was a fun and challenging endeavor. I loved teaching. I loved seeing those eyes light up. But I think at that stage in my career, it wasn't really a meritocracy. You could work very, very hard and you'd get the same raise, usually fairly low, as the teacher next door to you. So, from my perspective, I guess I was looking for something that would be a bit more challenging and, frankly, allow us to build a bit more of some kind of financial nest egg. So, I did start going for an MBA. Maybe like 6 years into teaching, I went at night, and I have to tell you, I didn't know a stock from a bond. I didn't know really anything about the financial world. So many Sunday nights when I had all this homework to do and didn't understand what it was. I remember that tremendous anxiety of, gosh, have I made the right decision? Am I doing the right thing here? But as always in life, you hang in there, you persevere, and I was able to get one of my teaching colleagues and good friends. Her husband was a president of a small bank in New Jersey, and he said, "Hey, listen, come in for an interview. See what you think of us." And I went in thinking to myself, if they ask me any questions, anything specific about finance, I'm still too green. I still don't have a clue. And luckily, the gentleman who interviewed me, very nice man, he talked through the entire interview. So I didn't have to really say much of
As men will do.
anything.
As men will
I,
do.
well, I think we all are guilty of that, Ken, from time to time. But all of a sudden, he said to me, "Okay, if we decide to hire you, let me introduce you to your new boss." And I again remember thinking, this is it. This is where they find out what an imposter I really am. This gentleman walked in and he said, "I have a very important question for you. This is going to determine whether you get this job." And I took a deep breath and he said, "Do you drink beer?" And that was the question because in those days, everyone would leave at 5 o'clock and go down to the bar. And Ay, ay, ay. So I did get the job. And truthfully, on a very serious note, I spent 3.5 years there. I learned a tremendous amount, but I was always so anxious. I was always so anxious that I didn't know enough. I wasn't, and it was a terrible way to be. I mean, I had given, I'm retired now, as you know, but when I was working, I was in banking for 40 years. I gave a lot of talks and a lot of talks to women, especially in March during Women's History Month. And we talked a lot about that imposter syndrome, that feeling that you're not good enough, you really don't know what you should know, and it's just a matter of time until people find you out. And I did kind of live with that for the first several years of my career, as a matter of fact. And to give you a sense, Ken, of what it was like for women in that particular bank, it was a small bank, about $1 billion and in assets, a small regional bank, which has since been sucked up into so many larger banks.
Mm.
But there was an officer's dining room, and women were not allowed. Women, and there were very few female officers, but women were not allowed in because they felt that the women would be too distracting for the men. And that's
Oh,
that's a true story.
my
And
God.
so
Isn't that amazing?
again, it really, yeah. And those were also the days when women were told we weren't going to get the same raise because we weren't supporting a family. We were, well, so we had to understand that our raises were not going to be the same as men. It was a very different time, and that was 1980.
I thought you were going to say,
Yeah,
I'm thinking, could that be? Because 1980. I listen.
yeah.
We're down to like 40 seconds, and this merits an entire show. Because these are no, I'm serious. This merits an entire show. We will do that, by the way, because I think every young person, but especially every young lady, every young woman, needs to hear the journey and respect what you did to pave the way for women today. So we will have you back on, please, if you don't mind. Former educator,
I would.
author, former New Jersey regional president of PNC Bank, Linda Bowden-Sims, you are a hero to me and to many people. Thank you for being with us this morning, and please come back soon.
Ken, thank you, and thank you for all you're doing too.
Thank you. Appreciate it.